Hi everyone, welcome back. Well, today we're down at Bennett Brook Railway in Whiteland Park, and something interesting has recently turned up down here. This is a FC Hibbett Planet locomotive, number, let me just come up a bit closer, I think it was, let me go around the other side, we can read that one better around there. Number 2011. Now these FC Hibbett made a lot of these little Planet locomotives. We've got two of them operating here already down at Bennett Brook. These had a 4-cylinder Atlantic diesel in. Let me go around to the other side again in the sun. So they're a rather interesting engine in these. Whopping big tall 4-cylinder diesel engine, made by Atlantic. Here's the plate down here. Now, a couple of interesting things about these engines. They actually run a dry sump in them. So if I close this up and we go up to the next hatch here, I believe this box here is the sump and oil filter. So if we take the lid off it here, I can't get it off, it's all seized up at the moment. There's wire gauzes in here, and while the engine's running, you run a fairly thick oil in here and it's fairly slow to move through the gauze. So there's a scavenger pump in the sump, which I think brings oil back up on this side. Take the lid off. The first compartment is almost completely full of oil, and you just fill it up till there's some dribbling all the way down to the far compartment where the oil pump recirculates it via these copper pipes out the back of the engine there, round the engine. Now, this particular engine is also an air start engine. We'll have a look in the cab in a minute, but we'll have a look at the starting mechanism down here. So we've got this lever here, and if we look down there on the flywheel, we can see a notched flywheel. So this lever is for barring the engine over to get it to the right point to start. Now there's a big air receiver in the cab. We've got our injector pump here. And it's a fairly standard injector pump, but if we just go up to the next hatch, we've got a dog clutch in here off this lever with all of these copper pipes that go up to the cylinders. This is the air distributor. So we turn the air on in the cab, we engage all of this. This cranks the engine over enough to start the engine. So quite an interesting starting procedure. It wasn't uncommon back in this era. I believe this loco is from the probably the 1930s. Now if we go up into the cab here, it's a pretty basic cab. There's an awful lot of stuff that's missing. I think this is the brake mechanism, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But down here we have a 3-speed manual crash gearbox. So we've got gear lever here, clutch down here, then we also have a forward and reverse. So we've got a forward and reverse in each of the 3 speeds. We've got our big air receiver over here with the main valve down to your starter. I believe that down here, this was probably where they had a little petrol starting compressor. The other Planet loco that we have here that was set up in the same way had a Villiers engine with a compressor on it mounted on the footplate outside. So yeah, this would have been an interesting thing to drive. If you look down here at the floor of the cab, you actually step out step up to go out of the cab. There's sand boxes under here for putting sand on your tracks to give a bit more traction. So once you step up the step, you hit your head on the edge of the cab getting in and out. So down here in the middle is low enough for somebody to actually stand in the cab, but you can sort of get a reasonable view out through there. But the metering valve for the starter is in the way on this side, and on this side you can't really reach the brake lever. So yes, it would have been an interesting locomotive to drive. I presume that they are going to restore this back to working order. I can see they've already started oiling up all the bearings and things like that to get it back to rolling again. But yes, keep an eye out. I'm sure that well, these projects always take a really long time because they are big projects. But I'm really looking forward to seeing that Atlantic diesel running. They do have a fully reconditioned Atlantic diesel that I imagine they will put into this locomotive, and take this one out and rebuild it at a later stage. But yeah, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye!